Hey guys, Boone down south here. So today's video is going to be a review of Ravin R18. This is a very unique vertical limb design crossbow, very light, compact, even has a removable stock, believe it or not. Integrated handle. We're going to go into all this. I've been using this for a little while and finally ready to do a review video on this whole thing. So y'all stick around, hit that like and subscribe.
All right, let's start with the specs here, guys. We got a compact length of just 25 inches. It's got a fixed width of 4 3/4 inches, so just under 5 inches on the width. The axle to axle height, when it's cocked, is only 1.3 inches, and when it's uncocked, it is 4.1 inches. So it's very compact. It comes in at a weight at right at 6 pounds. A lot of that's due to the 3-dot reflex sight it has on there. The speed is coming in at 330 feet a second with 85 foot-pounds using a 400 grain setup there. And to top it off, it only requires a cocking force of 12 pounds, which is very similar to other Ravin crossbows in the lineup.
All right, guys, let's focus on the technology that's in the R18s. The technology is a lot of the same technology we use in some of these other crossbows that Ravin produces, but there's also new technology in this one. So we still have the tried and true VersaDraw system with the integrated track trigger firing system. And we also have the frictionless flight system. And you'll see that the arrow is simply resting right here on the end. It's not sitting on a rail. Your cables are not shooting down a rail. That's the frictionless flight system. This is all integrated here. This track trigger firing system, it's got the anti-dry fire mechanism in it. It's got your safety trigger mechanism all built into this. And as we go to cock this thing and load this thing, we'll show you how this all works together. The new technology that Ravin's put into this is what they call their verticoil technology. The other crossbows have the helicoil technology. They did verticoil on this one, which basically flips them over, puts really tight coils on there on the cams, so that when you're cocking this thing, everything works vertically on this thing, which is really nice because you can see how narrow this whole thing is, right? We said just under 5 inches. So you can literally put this right up against the tree, like right there, and shoot and not worry about your limbs hitting it. Let's take a look at what it takes to cock this thing, show you how that works. The idea of this VersaDraw is this box right here is all integrated, right? And we're gonna loosen the mechanics on this and slide this forward so that this will catch into under our serving strings down below. So also underneath here here's your lever. There's our lever that catches the safety mechanism that holds this whole cocking mechanism together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop our integrated handle off. And I do feel very confident in this handle setup. Slides right in there, snaps into place good. I really don't feel like that's going anywhere. I feel like that's a good solid spot for it. And we'll go ahead and pop that off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the handle on. And then down here is this lever right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull back on the lever as we pull the handle. So I'm pulling on the handle a little bit, and then I'm grabbing the lever and pulling it back. And that basically loosens that and lets me take this block here, the VersaDraw and the track trigger firing system, slide it all the way down, and you hear that audible click when it clicks on the string. I can let go of this now, and now we're going to go ahead and cock this thing. So I'm going to just put the handle back on and get it all the way. Get the handle on there, and then I'm going to just cock this thing. Now, it's safe. I can take my hand off the handle at any given point. If I get tired, I can stop. It's safe. It's not going anywhere, right? Now, it's not advertised that you can do this quietly, but if you hold this in and hold this handle, because now there's no protection, because right now you've got a gearing protection in it. As you click it, it's going to protect it from coming back and spinning back on you. If you pull this back, this handle's going to go, but if you hold it, you could actually do it quiet. So depending on how you want to do it, it's not recommended that you do it that way on this model. So anyway, we're going to cock this thing, get it all the way back there, get it all the way back, and take our handle off, snap it back in place. This thing is cocked. Now look how those limbs look. Pretty cool, right? So let's go ahead and get this thing loaded. You're basically going to take your arrow, you're going to come under this bridge right here, and if you kind of notice here, just kind of slides right in there. There's like a receiver, and you kind of see where that goes in, and you want to push it in until you hear that pop like that, okay? And then once that's on there, you're good. This thing is cocked and ready to go. So you're out hunting with it, everything's great. But let's say you're done hunting for the day, you didn't fire it, you want to go ahead and decock the crossbow. So let's do that. First thing we're gonna do is take our arrow off. And remember, we're always gonna keep our finger up here because here's the business end right here going up. So I'm gonna take my hand down here. I'm not putting it in front of the arrow, of course, and we're going to pull that loose. The arrow is now loose. And by the way, we're always on safe, by the way. The moment that thing latches on the string, it's on safe. We haven't taken it off safe. You always want to make sure it's on safe and do that. And now we're going to decock this. So we're going to come back to our handle. We're going to put that back on this piece right here. Right? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come back to that lever we talked about. We're going to take the pressure off, and we're going to just let that roll down as we hold that lever. And I can let that lever off and it'll hold. I can go ahead and let that on down, and you can see the VersaDraw system heading right back down. And now we are uncocked. And that's how you can cock and decock the R18. All right, we're going to show you the 3-dot reflex sight that comes with this thing. Now, when you look at this, if you kind of get up close, you see we've got some up and down arrows here, right? So if you hold that up arrow down for 3 seconds, your dots will come on. And now I can see 3 dots in the reflex sight. And then you can adjust brightness by tapping these up 3 levels or down 3 levels with the up or down. And to turn it off, you're just going to hold the down button for 3 seconds, and the lights will go out. So there's 3 equidistant dots. The top one should be 20, 30, 40 is what they say. But the reality is it can be different depending on where this is sitting on your Picatinny rail, how much forward or backward is for your eye relief. And so you really need to shoot this thing. The top dot, you know, make that your 20, and then go back and see where your 3rd dot hits and your 4th dot hits, so you know. Because it's not necessarily going to be 30 and 40 yards because they're equidistant. And we know as that arrow flies farther, it's going to drop, you know, faster and faster. So check that out on your own as you're shooting it in. But that reflex sight is pretty cool. I gotta tell you, I've never really shot a crossbow with one, but it does line up on your eye very quickly. It very quickly gets right there. I mean, you can just line it up. It's quick target acquisition with this thing. Just something to point out. All right, so with the 3-dot reflex sight, you do get some tools with it. You get a Phillips and a flathead, small one. You got some extra screws and an Allen wrench. Because how you're gonna adjust this thing now, it's pretty simple to do. But when you read the instructions, they talk about the lock switch and to turn it at 1/2 inch. So let's take a look up close to this. So this is your lock set screw, if you will. That's what locks the sights in place. You have your elevation on top, and you see it says up and down on the top. And over here on the side, we have our windage, and you'll see left and right. And so your elevation, your windage, you'll adjust with the flathead screw. To use the unlock, you'll use the Phillips. Now, the instructions say just to turn a 1/2 turn on this. I did that initially, and it really got me messed up. It really wasn't locking because I was doing a 1/2 turn and turn to lock. You need to tighten that down. Don't strip it, but you need to tighten it down all the way. I backed it off several turns, and I locked down several turns because it did not come in a place where it was locked, apparently, when it came out of the box. You just make sure you tighten that all the way when you're done setting your sights in. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loosen the lock, all right? Okay, so my shot's to the left. All right, so what you're doing is you're adjusting the point of impact to the point of aim. So since my impact was left of the point of aim, my impact needs to go to the right. So I adjust this to the right. And you will see the dot move. And it'll kind of look like the dot's moving to the left, but really you're moving your point of aim over to that impact. And then once you have this set, then go ahead and lock it down and take another shot. That's enough. Okay, obviously this is a very different design than the other crossbows in our lineup. Obviously the vertical limbs makes a big difference. You can get right up against a tree with these things. You have a lot more portability with this thing. It's lightweight, it's 6 pounds, ready to go. It's very short at 25 inches, so it's really short. It's very tight, very light. I can move this around really easy with this design here. This is really made for the mobile hunter, really. If somebody wants something lightweight to use, get out and go a long way. This is so packable. I just had this in this pack as a backup. I took this when I went on my Ohio hunt. I took the LR as my primary crossbow, but I took this as a backup and I just loaded right up into a backpack, no problem. This stock comes off. If you kind of take a look at this right here, spin that out. On the other side here, there's a piece that can fall out. So watch that piece right there, okay? And then it is in here pretty tight, right? So I'm just gonna, and there's that piece I was talking about. So generally I take that off and go ahead and put it on. But now, look at this thing. What do you think of that? Now you really got some short stuff going on, right? I mean, I wouldn't recommend a hunt like that. It's just going to be too wobbly, but if you're going to have some fun, you could do some one-handed shots of this thing, right? It's pretty wild. But the idea behind it is you can pack this in. Look at this, guys. You can just pack this in a backpack. I mean, it's very small for packing in. Very, very mobile. As you can see from the tree and a saddle, how easy the maneuverability is in the tree. It's ideal for saddle hunting for sure. All right, I'm gonna get this thing cocked. First thing we're gonna do is loosen this up. Slide our track trigger forward.
Should I be zoomed in?
All right. All right. All right. Get my arrow over here. All right, loaded and ready to go here. You got to remember to turn your reflex sight on. It is very mobile, very mobile. If you kind of, you know, I can shoot all the way around to my left. I can come all the way around behind me if I want to. I can even shoot over to my right. Over here, I can come around behind me. Very, very mobile here. Very mobile. It's fair. I mean, look at this. If I come back far enough, you know, I got plenty of room here because I don't have this long crossbow coming out. I can get in tight to the tree. You know, if I want to sit right here, I could rest my arm on my bridge. It's super lightweight, super mobile here. On the money. So this thing is great in the saddle, y'all. Really, really nice in the saddle. Now again, this isn't your long range shooting crossbow where you're gonna be, you know, target shooting out at 80, 90 yards kind of thing, like you will say that the LR shoots out to 135 yards with 3-inch groups. But this is going to be your, you know, your 40 and under kind of crossbow that's going to get the job done for you. Very compact, very lightweight. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on. It's kind of a similar process. You kind of see the groove right there. You see the slot, and this kind of goes up in here, and you kind of just slide it down. You got to use a little force in there to get it into place because it is snug, which you'd expect it to be. And then once that's pushed in place, that hole will be open, and you can put this little piece back in there. Thread this back in, get it snug back down, and it's good and tight again on there, ready to roll. All right, a couple things to note. You do get a 3-arrow quiver that comes with it. It is an integrated mount. I kind of like just throwing the quiver in the backpack, to be honest with you. The way they've got it mounted is it comes into here. You see this depression right here in your stock, and you got this slot right here. And the idea is you would get it in the slot here. You push it down that depression and then slide it and lock it into place. And now your quiver's on there. It's kind of a little awkward, if you will. That's why I just rather throw this in the pack anyway. I never hunt with quivers on anyway, so it's not a big deal to me. But it's kind of like when you start getting light, compact, it's kind of like, what do you do with a quiver, right? This is how you can carry this if you want to. I don't like that. I'm just going to put this in my pack and go with it from there. But you do have that quiver. Another thing to point out, you cannot do the Ravin lighted nocks on the R18. They're just not going to work with this one. So just keep that in mind as well. But you are looking at a super light, compact, tactical bullpup style crossbow, if you will, with vertical limbs, which is a game changer, especially when it comes to saddle hunting, because you can get in that saddle, you can be right up against the tree. I mean, you could have that tree right there, and you could be right up against it, hiding behind that tree, and take your shot. You can have these limbs, they're just going to go from here to here. That's it. They're going up. As long as you don't have a limb right over the top of you, you're good. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, you can have that tree right up against you, and you're good, which is a lot different than your traditional horizontal crossbow. So it's pretty cool, guys. If you're into mobile hunting, if you want something that's light, compact, a good hunter out to 40 yards, this might be what you're after, guys. Anyway, just wanted to give you that review. So if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.